Hey, Simply Sugar here with the evening news update. So the U.S. hit 3 nuclear facility sites in Iran called Fordo, Natanz, and Isfahan. Iran is now threatening to close the Strait of Hormuz. This is where all of the shipments, oil shipments, come through this strait. And you see that Iran controls a certain area there. I think that's what they're going to do. You don't want to use your missiles against the U.S. troops because it's a battle they can't win, right? They can't win against U.S. weaponry, period. They're sending their missiles over to Israel in that conflict that's between those two countries. So how can they effectuate a hit on the U.S. without, causing all-out war by hitting our troops? It would be to close this strait. We get about 20% of our oil from this facility. I made several videos about how this is used and the numbers of what we get from there. You have the Houthis down here in Yemen saying that they're going to attack ships on Iran's behalf. So that closes up this area here or causes problems here. It's effectuating a chokehold on shipping from this region. Now, this may cause internal problems with the neighboring countries that ship oil, but I think Iran is going to negotiate with them. If they become nuclear ready, and I think they will, that would be my goal if I was in this country, because otherwise you're going to continue to get bullied in the region with this nuclear threat. If they get nuclear ready, they can offer protection of these other neighboring countries and say, hey, if they mess with you, they mess with me, and maybe we can come together in some type of financial strategic deal. And this is what we're creating here. We're creating not only a superpower with Iran, we're creating a superpower within that region. That's just my non-educated in I guess negotiations and war, but this is just what I think would happen. Now you have J.D. Vance going on the news praising the strike, saying this is about nuclear threats, not overthrowing the government, while the president is truthing, well, if we have to make a regime change, we have to make a regime change if they don't back down, offer everything, and go back to the negotiating table. Now, if you knocked out their sides, what's there to negotiate? You said these facilities were obliterated. What are you negotiating for? Because they have the capability, they have other sites, they are uranium rich, they can create these weapons, and they're going to do it. I mean, again, that would be my goal. You have General Kane. He said something very interesting. He said that the strikes were planned for months. Now, if this just took place between Israel and Iran, right, this conflict just started, a week and a half, 2 weeks ago? How has this been the plan for months? So this was all in the plan. This conflict with Israel and Iran giving the U.S. an excuse to come in. So this was all in the plans for several months. If you listen to them long enough, they give it away. Let's move on to local news here in the U.S. So we're still seeing a battle here with ICE in California, but it's going to spread to other cities. There's still protests here in New York as well that are planned, as the president has said, go after sanctuary cities. But not only that, he's gone back on his word, saying that we're not going to go to the farms and we're not going to go to hotels. Now they're back at the farms, they're back at the hotels, where people work. They're going after workers, not people who are a threat to our society. These are hardworking people. Where are the criminals you're going after? This goes to show you these people will never keep their word. You cannot trust anything out of our government's mouth, period. Not that, you could before, but you can't. They kind of worked within the realm of the Constitution. This government is not abiding by the law. They're breaking the law at every turn, and they're not following our own Constitution. And we need to keep our eye on that prize, because this is all a distraction. We need to worry about what's happening here. with this. This is a test to see what the Americans will stand down and sit for. It's time Americans really stand up for ourselves and our Constitution, in my opinion. The big beautiful bill is still going strong in the Senate. The Senate parliamentarian eliminated language regarding CFPB funding, nutrition aid restrictions on undocumented immigrants, additionally including sanctuary grant limitations and certain AI funding cuts were also flagged and removed from this big beautiful bill. It would go back to the House for another vote and maybe a little tweak here and there, and then it'll go back up to the Senate for a final vote. They want all this done before July 4th because, you know, they take their break and, you know, they love their breaks on our dime. This is the evening news. I am Simply Sugar. Please like, follow, and look at my previous videos if you want more information on what's going on here. Thank you.